Hey guys, Scarlet Darkwood here. Hope everyone's had a great week. I want to talk to you today about a special form of divination called bone casting. And this has been a tradition that's been used for thousands of years in other cultures. They get items that they have that's in their area. A lot of times we use our modern tools for divination like tarot. But what did people do when they didn't have that? What do cultures do when they don't have tarot cards or they can't go run to their local New Age store or witchy shop to get these things, but yet they want to divine an answer? So they would resort to going out into nature and they would find bones. And the bones of animals are a signification of their cycle of life. They bring death to the equation, which means we're all going to die. We're not getting out of this. But in those bones, you have a way of honoring that animal and its life. And with the set that I have a couple of sets. This set I got from the Witch's Box, and it is truly organic. These bones were collected in nature. They were cleaned and they were not bleached. They were left with their own color. They have, these bones are from mice, moles, squirrels, rabbits, snakes, you name it. This looks like it's an antler, and this is a vertebrae of some kind. These are bones that I don't know what animal they belong to. I would have to do some research on that. And the thing about bone casting is that you can add to the bones or add to your collection. You can add items that have a symbolism. You know, like the heart could mean love or emotion. The die here, you could make little symbols on each side and have that mean something. This looks like a fairy wreath of some kind. I don't know what the vine is. But it's kind of a cute little item that you could signify meaning to. A button, usually to hold things together. You have a little tiny besom here, which usually that means for cleaning and cleansing. This is another type of bone here. I don't really know what it is. But basically you take them and you put them like this and you just cast them. Of course, this is not a good cast, but you usually have a cloth with other symbols on it, and when you do a good throw and these disperse, you read what these bones are in relation to your cloth, because it also has maybe like past, present, future. If you have a series of circles in a circle, the center means something that's more likely that's happening now. The farther out you go, it's something that's happening later. If it's really far away from the circle, it's something that may be beyond your control. But with each piece, you assign a meaning to. Like we said, the besom was cleaning. The button could be, you know, holding things together, maybe undoing. A key I have in mind for unlocking, locking things, keeping things secure. Just every kind of thing you can think of. I don't know what these bones are, what animal they belong to, so I can't really ascribe necessarily a power or a spirit to it. But usually when you create your bones, you will take each one and you're going to ascribe a meaning to it. Like if it came from a certain animal, you know, maybe like if it was a snake vertebrae, you might ascribe that to transformation, change. If you have a vertebrae or something from a back, you might ascribe that to something giving support to a situation, because vertebrae, you know, it supports our bodies. If you have something from an arm or a leg, you know, a leg might be for movement, walking. Arms might be for doing something, pushing something away, whatever you want to ascribe it to. You can also write on the bones, you can put words on them, you can put cloth around them for a color to signify a different meaning if you want something for yes and no. You can do a lot of different things with these, and the thing about bone casting is it doesn't have a system. It's not like tarot where there's a card that each card has a meaning, and depending on where it is in the position is what it is. Bone casting is truly personal to the person who is making their set, who is ascribing each meaning to each piece. So bone casting sets are very personal to someone, but they can also be used with divination for others when somebody casts the bones. And usually when a person casts the bones, the reader will read in the direction facing the caster. So if somebody, was to a side of me, I would read the front and back and above and below differently than I would if I were looking at it head on. So that's something to consider. Now these bones, if you notice, are unbleached, and Elena chose to keep those bones unbleached. She wanted them more organic, natural. If you wanted to use hydrogen peroxide, or those are a little harsher chemicals, don't do Clorox. She suggested using lemon juice, or maybe soaking in salt and then leaving it out in the sun. Those would be, lemon juice and salt and sun would be a whole lot better than hydrogen peroxide. Definitely better than Clorox. So she wanted to keep these pieces natural, more to their origins. And I understand that. I don't blame her for that. I think that's a great choice. And I still think they have their own beauty. And she added these little pieces here that I have shown you, the heart and the die. And so you can just describe all kinds of things. This was meant to be a beginner set. We can add to this too. There's quite a few pieces here, and everybody who got the box got a different set of items. I felt like I was blessed to have a lot of bone items, so I was very happy with that. But if you will see, these are not bleached in any way. They are in they're clean, but they're in their natural state. I have a set here that I got off Etsy, and it's a different set. And as you can see, these right here, these are very clean, bleached to perfection. And these are the bones of, they're foot bones of a coyote. That's what the bag says. So I thought that was neat that the seller labeled these. In this one, there's it's a snapping turtle. Let's see if you can see that. A snapping turtle claw bone. And these are interesting. And so claws tend to grab, to catch, to tear apart. So, that might be a meaning that I would ascribe to something like these items. That I think would be very creative to do.'t are tiny little pieces, so, it would be taking very good care of them. These are coyote teeth. And as you can see, they are also could be used for tearing, chewing, breaking down of food. It could be maybe nourishment, maybe. But teeth can be used for a lot of different things. I mean, it's you could give these any meaning that you want. These are a boa constrictor. These look like ribs from that. These are very delicate, it looks like to me, but ribs tend to protect. They protect vital organs, and so these are very interesting. So these, you could give a meaning to something like that since they're rib bones. And last but not least, this is a Western Diamondback rattlesnake. Okay, well, you could have two meanings for a rattlesnake. You could have transformation and change, but rattlesnakes are also can give a warning when they're being threatened, so it could be a warning symbol. It could also be venomous, something with venom. Here are the bones for that. It looks like maybe little tail bones or little tiny bones like that. But that would be a really good animal that you could ascribe a lot of different meanings to. But it would depend on, and since you have more than one, You know, you could probably paint it or put a little color to it and, you know, give it some meanings of maybe one's venom, one's transformation, one is warning, all of that. So tell me if any of you all own bone casting sets. Have you ever used one? Has anyone ever had a bone reading? I don't see many of those done in shows. So that'd be something very unusual. I'm doing tarot cards at shows now, tarot readings. So if any of you all are in the Tennessee area and you get on my page, The Scarlet Mystic, check me out. It's one of my shows. I'll do a reading for you. And but anyway, I went to Pagan Pride in Nashville, and there was a lady doing bone casting, which I thought was interesting, and she was busy. So give it a thought. Have a bone reading with someone if you can find someone who does this. I don't offer that right now. But anyway, it's very interesting. It's an interesting way of getting some answers to questions. If any of you all have ever had a reading before, let me know what you think. If any of you all own bone casting kits, do you ever use them? What do you think of them? Would love to hear from you. And I hope everyone has a great week, and thank you for joining me for this video, and I hope you maybe check out bone casting as a new form of divination.